Boys and girls, next Tuesday is Grandparents' Day. Every grandparent will be starting with a piece of metal that has a heart on it, just like we did for the Asheville project last year, if you remember. And after they see that metal thing, you're going to be showing your grandparents this idea sheet that has all these different ideas for ways that they can embellish their piece of metal. Now, a thing to remember is that that metal has to be on top of that gray piece of paper. They also need to remember that they are drawing on the gold side. So they're on the paper and they're going to be drawing on the gold side. Now, if they stay on that gray piece of paper, when they press down, it's going to look awesome. But sometimes as they get going, they forget, because we've seen this with you guys too, and all of a sudden they find themselves working on the table. You need to keep an eye out on those people and make sure they stay on the gray paper. Now, something they might say is, I don't know what to do. Well, that's why they have the idea sheet. So if you see them sitting there because they haven't done an art project in 20 years, which could very well be, you're going to say, I know you're going to do a great job. Let's look at the idea sheet. And if you have multiple grandparents there that you're hosting, you're going to need to make sure, just what it's like with a teacher with 20 kids in their class, you're going to have to make sure that your 2 or 3 are all progressing. If they say they're finished, you can always encourage them to put a little bit of a border around the outside edge. They could do dots, they could do little lines, almost like a frame, just so it doesn't have what we call a raw edge. Something else they could do is just to push down and make these little dots. Very cool. Now, when they're finished, they need to flip it over to the silver side. They're drawing on the gold, but they're coloring on the silver. Can we remember this? Now, once again, they might have a little moment of panic that they don't think they know how to color something in. You just go ahead and get them started. They don't even need to fill in every little bit of silver. A lot of times they look cool having a lot of just the plain silver showing. Now, what happens when one of them start to color on the gold side? They start to cry, give them a hug. Don't tell them they get another piece of metal. You just say, it's no big deal. Just flip it over and get started on the silver side. And off they will go with your encouragement and after you've wiped away their tears. So they're going to continue to color things in. They know how to do it. They're going to be capping their Sharpies. Please don't leave us with a mess. And then they get to decide if they are going to make a keychain or a magnet. For the magnet, you're going to have these supplies and you can help them. They'll take double-sided tape. They'll put it in the little square. There'll be pre-cut pieces of paper. They'll line it up and put it in the middle. And then all they have to do is slide it right inside and they can use it as a frame or a magnet. They can also make a keychain. For that, they just take the empty keychain, put it in there. They're going to snap on that plastic cover, making sure it's all the way there. And just because I'm a little bit of a nervous Nelly, I'm going to have regular tape. They can just take a short little piece, it doesn't need to be big, and if they press down real hard, you can't even see it, and then we know for sure it won't fall off. So those are their choices. Now let's think this over again. You're sitting there with your grandparent, you see the gold piece of metal with the heart on it. You might have in your head what you know they need to do, but until you teach it to them, they are going to be lost. So you are going to be reminding them, let's pick up your pencil, you're going to draw on the gray paper, and you're going to tell them with your mouth, not your brain, that they need to decide how they want to decorate that gold. If you don't teach that to them, they won't know what to do. You may even need to put this right in front of their cute face. Now, when they start, they might be a little scared and draw a really light line. If they do that, we know it's not going to turn out nice if they have a wimpy line. You just encourage them to go back over it and push a little bit harder. You can even encourage them to flip it over and see if they can feel it. Keep an eye on them because they might start doing it on the table instead of keeping the gold on the gray paper. It's so easy, even a kindergartner can do it if you're watching them and you're reminding them. Now, once they have their gold done, or I've said, okay, folks, we need to move on, remember, you're reminding them, do not color on the gold side. It's not a national emergency, but you have to let them know you are coloring on the silver side. So they can use their Sharpies and they can get started. And again, they don't have to color in every little bit. They're just going to keep plugging along, coloring that thing in. And again, if they do it on the gold, tell them no big deal and bring them back to the silver. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, my grandparents are getting a cool keychain and I'm not. Boo-hoo! Well, that's not true because in an envelope, you are going to find the keychain that you're making here today. So after you've helped your grandparents make their keychains, you're going to get one as well. Now, your grandparents are used to being the ones in charge. So whether you have one grandparent, or if you have 2 or 3 or 4, or if you don't have anyone who's able to come on Grandparents' Day, you're all going to be working together to keep your grandparents on track and help them decide between the keychain or the magnet. So in just a minute, you're going to go ahead and sit down back at the table. You're going to find that your project is ready to go. You're going to practice doing exactly what you're going to be teaching them on Friday or on next Tuesday. And when you finish, we're going to be having you put it in an envelope with your name on it, and we'll put it in the keychain so that you can have it on Grandparents' Day. Go ahead and get started.